Welcome to The Subject is Moot, where everything we discuss is debatable. I am Dom, and across from me is...
Mike.
Thank you. And a special thanks to Vinny and Quiz, the producers of the podcast. We want to hear from you, so write in your opinion, comments, or topics you want us to talk about to thesubjectismoot@yahoo.com, and we will bring them up during future shows. You could also follow us on Twitter at TSIM_podcast, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. In the search bar, just type in The Subject is Moot or Dom Mike, and you'll find us. Behind the Mics for episode 30. Music, Mike?
30.
30.
30.
You know what that means?
It's 30.
That means we did 29 before this one.
We sure did.
Are you ready?
Sweet water?
Of course.
Okay.
Show doesn't start without us plugging.
The show can't start.
It cannot start without us plugging Sweetwater.
True.
They've been providing music instruments and pro audio since 1979. They have excellent products, pricing, and customer service. Sweetwater also offers interest-free financing, free shipping to the lower 48 states, and an exclusive free 2-year warranty, which comes nearly with every product they offer. Located in the United States, Fort Wayne, Indiana, call 800-222-4700 for sales assistance, technical questions, or advice, as well as check out their website, sweetwater.com. So what are you thinking? We could talk about a lot of different things today, but I think what we want to focus on is something that I guess you and I have never really talked about outside of metal in the 80s.
Well, we've talked about, our time of radio 80s, like radio listening, like pop 80s stuff.
We've talked about pop, Jackson, Madonna. We've talked about metal, hair bands.
We went to about Ronald Reagan.
Not Ronald Reagan.
Well, my best. I tried. I don't know. It was not good.
Not Ronald Reagan. I think there's enough politics being spoken about in the world today, but we don't talk about
There's
politics.
No room for that on
there
our
is
show.
Absolutely no room to talk about politics and music, and we've talked about that as well. Not even during a concert.
Especially during a concert.
Right. No. What do you want to call? New wave. What do you call new wave?
80s new wave?
80s new wave.
What about it?
Let's talk.
Let's do it. What do you want to know? I'm not a
it seems like
aficionado on the subject, but
and neither am I. But
I did enjoy it, and I actually probably enjoy it more now than ever since it's become
right. It's like coming back.
I think people are enjoying it, especially now there's so much 80s influence within writing and TV shows, movies,
the Goldbergs,
Stranger Things.
Which I really didn't think the Goldbergs was going to last.
It's a great show, actually.
It's a tremendous
it's a fun show.
Because when you look at the Rubik's Cube, which we probably should have that out. What year do you think this was?
1977?
Did you look on the bottom of this?
I didn't even touch it. I'm afraid to touch it. I think it's going to crumble in my hands.
No, it's not going to crumble. In fact,
or the water's poison.
That's water from 1977.
What? Is it from 77?
Well, this thing is from 77, but the water is not. But that's
that's yours?
That's mine.
Who the heck would buy you that toy at 20 years old?
Excuse me, but my mother got this for me at 1977.
When you were 20. Why would she buy it for you when you were 20?
No, I was not 20
You weren't
back
picking
then.
up on that, were you?
No, I really wasn't, because I really didn't think you had thought that.
Focus, new wave 80s. Let's go.
Sorry. We should have a Rubik's Cube out there, though, for the 80s.
Rubik's. And don't forget Stranger Things.
Where do you want to start?
Who's your favorite? Let's make it. Let's put it out there.
Depeche Mode, I think. Depeche Mode and Cure.
Didn't pick you as a Cure fan.
Only because it's just different. And at this point in my life, I'm so tired of the mainstream popular stuff. And that was still, even then, was, I think, off.
Yeah, no.
Off a little bit. It wasn't right down the middle.
Right.
I was a big Duran fan. I like Duran. I know
they were more radio friendly than the Cure for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no. I know. I'm not. And Flock of Seagulls. Well, I have to say though, to me is one song, but when you do listen to it, and a lot of people now are saying it. I think a lot of people are saying that they're more than one song, or there's still one song, but they like all their other stuff too.
The fun of being a music fanatic is taking a band who you've either only heard the greatest hits or one song, like a one-hit wonder band, and try to dive into their catalog just to see if maybe there's more than just one song, despite what the radio told you should only hear.
Right.
And Flock of Seagulls is I found
a sleeper.
Yeah, I think I bought a double CD collection of theirs. And obviously, with the wonder of the internet, you could listen to sample a lot of stuff first to be sure. And I think I bought a double CD of almost all their songs, or close to a lot of their songs. And I really said, wow, there really should have been more hits than this.
Yes, and that's the beauty of listening to music, old music, now,
Right.
after they're not in their prime.
Right.
I think you're overwhelmed. Going through the decade, you're overwhelmed, and like you said, you are force-fed the hits.
Always.
Right? So what are you listening to? You're listening to Iran all day long. Okay, Safety Dance, right?
Right.
And all those songs over and over again, the top 40 all day long. Because you're outside, you're playing basketball, you're playing baseball, football, whatever it is you're playing, and you're not really paying attention. You're just listening to it, but you know it's because that's all you hear.
Right.
Are you really sitting down studying the music like you do now?
Deep tracks.
Right. So that's the beauty of music now, and that's why even at a later age, I have appreciated Led Zeppelin more and the older rock as I got older.
Led Zeppelin, though, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to go off topic here, but really quick, Led Zeppelin, almost every song they had was a hit.
Oh, no,
That's how good they were.
No, but what I'm saying is I got into Led Zeppelin later in life.
Right, me too.
Okay, so,
Me too.
and I didn't appreciate it back when it came out. I didn't appreciate a lot of the
Well, I
music.
wasn't even really.
Right, because you're getting wrapped up, like in the 80s, I got wrapped up into rap and dance music more than I was, and some metal, some hair bands. It was like
It was late for me.
It was later 80s that I got into the hair metal bands.
Unfortunately, from like Michael Jackson on, from Thriller on, I was totally led by the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so you only got exposed to whatever they wanted to expose you to.
Right.
And I didn't have I was too young to have the money to go out and buy albums. I either had to wait for Christmas or birthday if I wanted an album. And a lot of times you got 45s, which is the song you wanted to hear on it.
Well, that's the thing. Anytime I went to the store, Music Factory on the Staten Island Mall,
That was a great store.
$3.99 for a 12-inch vinyl, $3.99, and I remember it was always $4.32. But I would go buy the same song I was listening to on the radio.
Right.
So it wasn't the deep tracks,
Right.
And I wasn't buying the full album because I didn't want to hear it because I didn't really know what they were all about, and I wasn't going to spend my money on. Like, you could sample now before you buy. Like you just said, you could sample before you buy. Do I like it? Or you could just, you get Apple Music, or you can just Bandcamp it or whatever and listen to it. But I wasn't going to waste. I mean, what was it? Was it $12? I don't remember even how much an album cost back then.
Yeah.
For the whole album.
Maybe like $10 or $12.
Right. So $12 for me, I'd rather, and I would just roll the dice. But I was, I didn't have that kind of cash at 10, 11, 12 years old.
No, I don't think anyone does. The good thing for fans, too, is as time went on, they, a lot of the labels or other labels who either bought the rights to a lot of these bands in the 80s that were either one-hit wonders or even the bigger bands like The Cure took care of the fans by remastering the stuff, adding a lot of B-sides, demos for the diehard fans, and special packaging. Like, my favorite band of that era, that new wave era, is Tears for Fears.
Mm-hmm.
And they really the labels put out some really high quality special editions with like a lot of extras on it. And for the fans it's great. For the mild fan who just wants to hear the hits, they keep regurgitating the greatest hits for for that group too. Remastered greatest hits. So
there was a lot. I mean,
There was a lot.
REM.
REM.
Duran Duran.
Special. So REM was very special in a lot of ways.
Duran Duran. They were
cool. They're still going. They still sound pretty good too.
Oh.
I just saw a live show on TV by them that was recent, and they still sounded pretty good.
They were probably the more popular of like a Depeche
New
Mode,
Wave,
Cure.
yeah. But they also leaned more popular than more like that, like darker underground new wave, like the Cure, like New Water.
Right.
I think
There was somebody else who I was trying to think of too, and I just can't remember.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
No. I can't think of the name of the other band that I was thinking of, but there was
They were kind of popular too.
Yeah.
Spandau Ballet. They were more. Then I think once time went on that you were able to land a hit, or that that these bands or the labels knew radio was starting to play that stuff. That's when they wanted to turn these bands a little more popular than darker. So that new wave, that used to be a little darker and more gothic. Oh, I don't want to say all of it was that way, but you get my drift. The labels and the powers that be kind of were like, let's pop it up a little bit,
Make it more commercial.
still with the synth, still with the look, but make it a little more commercial.
There's tons of bands we're missing.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. If you want to do your homework,
Yeah.
it's fun because there's a lot of quality stuff from that era. Great songwriting, even if you don't like, but as that whole synth movement's getting bigger, go back and see where it started. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good stuff that people will definitely find. I think more than just the greatest hits.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm tired of greatest hits, but
some bands are only worth their greatest hits.
Are you thinking the Police?
Listen, I've tried very hard to listen to their deep stuff. I don't know if I've mentioned it in the past.
You have, yeah. No, we talked about it, and you're right. It is hard.
And I love the Police's music.
And you were gonna say Journey too.
Yeah, both those bands. I'm still not giving up. I still have every studio album that both of those bands have made because I will not give up.
Did you like Foreigner?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who'd you like better, Foreigner or Journey?
Journey.
See, majority of people I ask that question, they say Foreigner. And I think Foreigner was more of a rocker band type than Journey.
A little more dirtier rock.
Right.
Than, Journey was more polished.
Polished synth keyboards, right? Not synth, but keyboards.
Yeah, keyboard keys and
different sound. But I've always liked Journey better. I'm trying to think who else. I was really just stuck into rap for a good portion of the 80s.
Yeah, again, I just whatever the radio dictated to, I was kind of at the other extreme of where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think eventually that's why I started to detest radio because I realized how, it could turn you into a music zombie. Just give me whatever you're giving me is what I'm going to follow.
Right. I'm trying to think here. Just to pull up 80s bands, 80s
new wave, you mean?
Yeah, because I feel like we're just missing so much.
Men Without Hats.
Well, Safety Dance.
Right.
Then they had that Pop Goes the World, which was. But that Safety Dance was a tremendous song.
Right. People will argue it's a one-hit wonder, which it was
pretty
technically.
Much. Yeah. Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, The Cure, Human League.
Yeah.
Devo.
Devo was kind of at the forefront of that.
Talking Heads, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was missing before.
But see, even the Devo and Talking Heads, I wouldn't put in the same category because Talking Heads really stand on their own, dude. There's really no band like them. There isn't. I've tried to listen to Talking Heads stuff. There's no band like them. Absolutely no band.
The Cars.
Yeah, well, there's another band too. It's hard to say that they were like Depeche Mode or
Echo and the Bunnymen.
I mentioned them.
Which I am very disappointed in myself for not Men at Work.
Yeah, Men at Work's great.
That's probably one of my top.
But I'm not even sure also if you could put them in the same category as The Cure or New Water or,
Okay, so let's look at it as a 5-lane highway.
Right, yeah.
So you have the center lane, which would be the obscure new wave band like Depeche Mode.
Well, true new wave.
And then let's just use the two outer but inner
lanes. Let's go 3-lane highway.
No, let's use it. Then you have the middle one and the two out. The outer ones, and the ones next to the middle one.
Yeah, I know.
That would be, let's say, Men at Work.
All right.
I think. And what happened? Where do we go? I'm totally screwing up this here.
Talk. I saw Pet Shop Boys.
Pet Shop Boys. Yep. Yeah, there's so many.
There's a huge list of them, and again, Madness was cool.
Adam and the the Go-Go's. No, that was just now that's getting into the Fix.
Yeah, I don't know. Gary Newman was ahead of the curve too, because Cars brought in that whole synth. Erasure, yes.
I told you, and Level 42, that was pop, but still good. Oingo Boingo Bangles, The Knack, Culture Club, Joe Jackson, The Beat, Aha, Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Aha, yeah, Frank Goes to Hollywood. That was, again, a lot of these bands are considered under that, flag of one-hit wonders. But.
Yeah, and more. I think some of these are pop. Dead or Alive, that's pop.
Till Tuesday was definitely new wave for sure.
Alternative, yeah, new wave, yep. Bronski's Beat, synth. Men Without Hats. Yeah, I mean it's all Wang Chung, Buggles.
Yeah.
That's all.
The list goes on and on.
But you know what though,
It's a fun era.
and that actually still these bands stand the test of time. I think for the most part, you could put these on right now, and
Here's the thing, man, with music, and that's what makes it special. You're locked into that era. You hear Take Me On by Aha. It's 80s. It reeks 80s.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
We may have said in the 80s, this is terrible. But now we look back at it. I probably loved it, but I'm just saying people may look at that point, because I've heard people say it was one of the worst decades of all time. But I think, you look back at this type of music, it epitomizes the 80s. That sound for me it does at least. Outside of the pop stuff that you listen to on the radio, but pop is pop. Pop's going to last forever. Because in the 60s, the Beatles will pop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Elvis.
I don't know what I listened to back then anything that I didn't like back then, do I like now? I don't know. Or anything that I just despised or thought was horrible, I don't think I like now. Right. I don't know. I don't know. But bands that I didn't listen to, just because I was wrapped up into that little bubble of what I was listening to at the time, I think for now, I have no problem listening to them.
It's that bubble that's killing music as we used to know.
You mentioned the Outfield before.
I love the Outfield.
Yeah.
The Outfield, and even
Robert Palmer. But that's just rock, I think. More straight in your face rock.
Mr.
Pop rock.
I mentioned earlier too, but they were on that outer lane if you want to go with your highway theory.
Yeah.
Mr. and even the Outfield were on the outer lanes of that era. They weren't as like dark on the darker end of the new wave spectrum. They were more on the poppier rock.
Yeah, on the
with
two
a
outer
little
lanes.
bit of a tinge.
The two outer lanes.
Yeah. But still very good. The Outfield was actually, in my opinion, the Outfield is one of the, besides Men at Work, had really, really, really good collection of songs and a great group.
Information Society.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all good stuff that I would listen to now. That I would probably tell you back then. No, I'd never listen to it. But again, we weren't really exposed to it too much. Well, I don't even know what radio stations when I listened to Z100 and PLJ. Probably I don't even know what radio stations were playing this stuff.
You would get probably Tears for Fears, Men Without Hats, stuff like that. But only one song.
Yeah, no,
if you were lucky.
It wouldn't be wrapped in the 40 every 2 hours.
No, definitely not. You wouldn't hear it in between Michael Jackson and Madonna.
Right.
Culture Club.
And Rick Astley.
Culture Club.
Karma Chameleon.
Yep.
Your favorite band. That started it all for you.
Come on, dude. Those songs are catchy, man.
They are. I'm not taking anything away from them. Kim Wilde. That's what I'm just saying.
It was a good era, and it's a fun era to look back on. And if you weren't there, check it out, because I think you'd find some cool music. I think people are. I think younger people are finding cool stuff within that, more than just what was the popular songs.
I find my kids listening to a lot more music than I thought they would be listening.
Mine too, yeah.
A lot more music of what we grew up with than what I expected them to be listening to. Like I hear them in their rooms or whatever, and I'm like, oh wow, they're listening to that, and it's kind of cool.
Well, what's also cool is you can go on Amazon Music or iTunes Music and play 80s playlist or 70s playlist or
Tommy Two-Tone.
Right, they have that stuff on there, and they get exposed to that music. Like my daughter loves Tears for Fears. I mean, she's heard me play it a lot, but she grew to like them too. She watched some of the videos, which is silly and cheesy 80s, but that's all part of it. Yeah. Because that was part of that era.
Well, that's exactly what you did, but you sat there and you watched it anyway, and it was fun.
Yep.
You passed it. Look, it was good, clean fun.
It sure was.
You passed the time with good, clean fun. You didn't get into any kind of trouble.
Truisms.
Let's talk rock labels.
Yeah, actually, what I'm going to go with this podcast is I'm going to forego artists of the podcast. I'm going to talk about a label that, and this is way off the beaten path from what I normally talk, kind of. It's a label called the Artisan Era, and they're out of Nashville. And basically they specialize in more technical extreme metal, if you want. I don't want to call it death metal. I'm going to say musicianship-based extreme metal.
Is it like death metal, though?
Very much so. Not your style, obviously, and I don't know about...
I don't have a style. I don't like it.
I know you don't. But I probably own almost everything on the label. That's how good the label is. That's how much I believe in the artists that are on the label, because this label just continuously pumps out quality extreme metal. And if you like your drumming fast and technical, and your guitar playing technical, and your bass playing technical, and don't mind death metal vocals, this is the label for you. Not you, for you. Yep. Check it out, because I don't think you'll be disappointed. And
So wait, what do you look up? Artisan Era, and then what they have
the
a list
Artisan Era. They have a Bandcamp, which has all their bands on there. They sell merch. They sell CDs.
So
and
if
vinyl.
you went on Artisan Era online and Googled them, do they have then their bands underneath like a drop-down menu?
On their merch page, on their homepage, on a Bandcamp page, you could sample all that. You could stream all their music. And if you look up what bands are on, I'm sure you'll be able to find them on iTunes and Amazon too. I know you can, because I've seen them myself. So if anyone out there is looking for stuff on the more of the extreme side of the music, and then you don't mind your music technical, and I guess some of it's can borderline on proggy, but on the heavier extreme side, this is the label for you.
I still can't get it. The whole death metal thing. When you go to a show, I know you're listening to good musicianship.
Well, that's what I'm in it for.
But then the vocals, I just can't get past that. Where you're just sitting there, you want to be able to sit back. I almost feel like you're on the edge of your seat watching a horror movie, and it's like real tense, and you feel like you're gonna snap at any second. You go to a show though, I want to be able to sit back and unwind, maybe, and relax.
Have a glass of wine?
No, I don't want a glass of wine. I just feel like I don't want to snap. I feel like that would make me snap.
Well, I mean, you're not going to catch me at too many of these type of shows anymore, but I still enjoy the music a lot, because I enjoy what goes into making something like that, and how boundary pushing it can be, because you listen to some of this stuff and it's like, wow, how are they playing this? How are they even recording it? And then they go out and play it live, which is amazing.
Look, I am not taking anything away from them. I think, obviously, if you're playing that technical, then yeah, you're damn good, but I just don't know if I could get into it. I'll never say never again.
No,
I listen to things now that I never thought I would ever listen to, like Gregorian chant and everything else. But although I've been listening to that for a while, I don't know if I could put that on, only because of the vocals. Take the vocals out, and I probably listen to it.
This style of music isn't for everybody. And I'll tell you the truth, it as I got into music, it took me a while to get into the heavier stuff. It took me quite a while. And I probably started, obviously, with in my opinion, the greatest death metal band of all time, Death. That was my starting point. And then, besides Metallica and Pantera, which was on the heavier spectrum, but like as far as straight up death metal, where the whole album had no singing, even remotely close to singing, it was
growling.
It was definitely
growling.
Death.
Yeah.
But then I learned as I got into the music, and then the next band was In Flames, and then Soilwork, and then so on and so forth, that there are different types of like that type of vocal. And I grew to particularly like one or two types of it more than the other types. So when you start getting into the more extreme music, you realize there's more to it than just someone going up there and just screaming nonsense. There is more to it, and there's a variation to it as well.
It's an art.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah, definitely. It's not singing.
No, it's an art. It's some sort of art. I don't know what it is, but
so. For the last segment, I'm going to throw in my three guitarists of the podcast really quickly.
Go ahead. Go for it. Music, Mike.
Number one is Charlie Robbins, who, if you look him up, he's the guitarist of a great band called Artificial Language, whose new album's coming out in May. But if you're looking him up under Bandcamp, he goes under Syncatto, Syncatto. But obviously, if you look him up under Charlie Robbins, I'm sure you'll find his EPs. But he goes by the name Syncatto on Bandcamp. He's on Instagram, YouTube. He's a beast of a guitar player. Phenomenal. Check him out. Second guitarist I'm going to name is going to be Ola Englund, Olaenglund. Some people will know him because he plays in The Haunted, but he has a solo album out that just came out, which is fantastic. Check that out. Just look him up. You'll find him. And my third guitarist is going to be Hock, Pohhock. He plays in a death metal band or extreme band called Replacire, Replacire. And he was also in a great band, a one-off band that was called Native Construct, who put a great album out that was kind of between the Buried and Me, but a little more clean vocals. Just great stuff. He has an instrumental album out on Bandcamp as well. You may be able to find it on iTunes. But if you're into guitarists, check those 3 gentlemen out.
All right, then. Time to wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
We want to hear from you, so write in your opinion, comments, or topics you want us to talk about, too. The subject is moot@yahoo.com, and we will bring them up during future shows. You could also follow us on Twitter at TSIM_podcast, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. In the search bar, just type in the subject is Moot or Dom Mike, and you'll find us. For now, I am Dom, and across from me is
Mike, and we are out.